right, welcome everyone to Studio 51, where we are shooting Carmen's first podcast. And she really wanted to do something kind of unique and daring, which is very Carmen, for those of you who know Carmen. But for those of you who do not know Carmen, I'm going to have you go ahead and do a quick introduction.
Hello, everyone. Hello, family. My name is Carmen Calhoun, and I am a 3-time recording artist. I am an author. I am an entrepreneur. I own a small trucking and construction company here in the Washington, D.C. area, and I am 56 years old, starting my YouTube channel.
Well, okay. So award-winning music, huh?
Yes.
Okay. I know about the John Lennon.
Yes.
And you've won a couple of John Lennons, right?
Yes.
What other awards have you won?
I've won MTV for songwriting, a Billboard for songwriting.
Okay.
Also, Billboard, and also the state of Maryland highest grant for songwriting.
Okay. Well, that's cool. All right. So, I guess we kind of know who you are now, but you said you had some you're going to come out about.
Yes, I'm coming out. This is my coming out party.
Go ahead.
You all ready?
Here it comes.
I am not with her. I am with Donald Trump.
Oh, snap. Okay. That's
Yes.
not normal for around here, I should say.
No, it is not.
And not to sound like a complete racist, but I mean, not what I think a lot of folks would figure. I mean, you know.
Well, you're not a racist.
No, I don't think I am either, but, I mean, it depends on who you ask, right? Because there's some people that think just by the sheer fact that I am white that I am racist. That's how it is. I don't know. I don't agree with that.
I beg to differ.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, clearly, though, you didn't used to be a Trump person.
No, we used to have arguments. Do you remember?
I wasn't. I was never that much of a pro-Trump person, but I mean,
I had my
you did
ideologies.
Not like him.
No, I didn't like him. I thought that he was a racist, and I was following along with everyone else who said that he was a racist. And come to find out, I don't think that he is. And if he was, everyone can change. I mean, after all, I've been a Democrat all my life, and here I am voting for a Republican.
Wow. So is it that so you're going to vote for Trump? So okay. So why Trump?
Why not? I don't like what the Democrats did. I think that Kamala Harris is absolutely stunningly beautiful. However, I don't think she's ready to be commander-in-chief. And so I am voting my heart and what I think is good for me and my family, and also for the United States. And that is a commander-in-chief that, one, knows how to run a business. Two, he might not be perfect in articulating everything, but he really does, in my opinion, care about the American people.
I agree. I'm actually in an odd way, a little disappointed with Trump. And what I mean by that is this. I think he is the right thing at this point, right? Okay.
Yeah.
I would say that I like the way Ramaswamy talks.
I love him.
Yeah, I just think that he's what I think Trump is trying to say, but Trump isn't capable of, or maybe I used to think that Trump felt that way, but
he can't articulate.
He didn't articulate it right. Yeah. But I think there's some truth to that, but I'm not sure that he could ever articulate it.
And that's okay, because he might not be a wordsmith. I'm not a wordsmith until I'm writing songs, and I'm not one.
I was going to say, I think you're a wordsmith, but I mean, But
okay, so then you have rappers like Jay-Z who can flow like that. I can't flow like that, or that's never been something that, that's not my mental acuity right now. Maybe if I try to learn, but it's not who I am. I'm the one that, I call God Papa, and Papa might have to download something to me for me to get it. Other than that, it's not my flow. And
I think you can be more effective, more useful when you aren't so intellectually word capable in your own strength. You know what I mean? Because I've seen, and I'm not saying you aren't, because you are actually, but I have watched you flow in concert where the Holy Spirit will be speaking through you, and you just will start saying just absolute revelation from the word. And I'll pull you aside. We remember that one time, and I pulled you aside. I was like, oh my God, that's amazing. You said, I'm just sensing that, holy is your status, even if it's not your behavior. And I'm like, oh my God, Carmen, that is, so on point, and you were like, well, but, so in your head, you hadn't received that revelation of
right. I did not. Yeah. He spoke it, but it didn't settle. Right.
Yeah. And I think
now I'm totally settled.
Yeah. And to go back to Trump, I mean, he might not be a wordsmith, but I think I think it's genuine that he does care about the country. I think that the mainstream tries to, is obfuscate the right word? Obfuscate? Maybe not.
Maybe so. Yes.
Yeah. His intentions. I mean, is he a narcissist? Yeah, I think he is. He's a showman. He obviously had, The Apprentice, and he did quite well with that. And and does he exaggerate? Oh my God, the guy just, everything's a million this, and it was the biggest crowd, and it was the, and
he's an entertainer, for God's sake.
Yeah, but he can be really wrong about that kind of thing. But I don't think there's any real malice in that.
Right. I don't think he has malice in his heart. I really think that he really does care about people. Right. And the Democratic Party, which I've been affiliated with all my life, I don't align with them anymore because they took my voice away. They took your voice away. We didn't have a primary to vote Kamala in. And there were plenty of qualified people who were trying to become a part of the Democratic Party to be a voice, but they took that away. They blocked that. And now Kennedy is running and supporting Trump. And so do I.
Yeah. And I saw an interview in which Kennedy who was he talking to? He was talking to another, basically a Republican conservative. And he openly stated that he tried to first go to the Democrats because he's a Democrat, at heart.
Well, so is Trump. He was a Democrat for a long time.
I totally agree. I think Trump has actually redefined the Republican Party. I mean, there's been quite a bit of talk about the whole flip thing, where, it's the hard left Democrats that are like neocons now. That was a Republican thing, right? They are censorship. What on earth is that? I mean, the Republicans used to worry about, what you said, what you didn't say. Now the Republicans are like, hey, they're saying what the old school Democrats used to say, which was, I will defend to the end of my life. You're willing to say something I don't agree with, but you should be able to say it. And where did those? Bill Maher says the same thing. And now Trump says, Bill Maher is like, he still won't vote. He won't vote Trump because he just won't. He just can't bring himself to. And but I think he's also very upset at what the Democrats have become, which is unfortunate,
well, for me, for the things that I don't like Trump for, which really I can't even articulate what they are right now, honestly speaking, there's grace for that. There's grace for everything.
Right.
However, we're looking at 4 years, the next 4 years, and I don't want the next 4 years to be like the last 3 with the Democratic Party. Our economy is in shambles. The state of the country with all the illegal immigrants coming in is ridiculous. We are financing these things. We've given more money to Ukraine and all the other countries except, what happened to Hawaii? Why haven't we given money there? I don't understand. Someone help me understand what's happening here.
Yeah. Well, I have a question for you. You brought up the idea that you felt that the Democrats this time in this voting cycle have, well, or maybe not just voting cycle, maybe the entire 3 years. You feel like they've taken your voice.
Yes.
And so I wanted you to, if you can, elaborate on that a little bit.
We didn't have an opportunity to have a primary for Kamala. We were just given her. Right. So some people say, well, she's next in line. No, she would have been next in line had Biden died. He didn't. He stepped aside. Right.
Well, I don't even think he stepped aside. I think it really was.
I believe it was a coup.
I think it was a coup, too.
I do as well. And they took him away. They put Kamala in. We didn't have a primary. They knew exactly what they were doing. I think it was all planned. And I think that she knew prior to the day that Biden said, it was just like the Obama phone call ad that she did. Oh, thank you so much. That was so fake.
Yeah.
And I think this whole thing was planned. It was the earliest debate ever in history. And you mean to tell me they didn't have this plan? I don't agree. They knew probably months before the debate with Trump, Biden, that they were going to put her in place.
I didn't used to be conspiracy guy, but COVID kind of pushed me over the edge on the conspiracy thing, and now I actually have an odd sense. That that they actually knew how that debate was going to go with Biden, and that they set that up so that they could,
absolutely,
because they were. I think they're not stupid. And I don't know. It just seems like they knew it was going to go bad, and then they could use it as a lever. Mm-hmm. And I think they
took our voice away even during COVID. And I should have studied it before I came on here. I know they did it in the 1960s too, as well. So the next time
You're talking about like a season in which they did that,
mm-hmm. or in the 60s, they took our voice away.
But is that like for them to take our voice away now means at some point we got it back. So
well, that's because we were on the Republican. It goes back and forth. So like when I say they took our voice away, even doing C-19, we couldn't, we didn't vote to separate ourselves from family, to put these masks on. All these things were mandated. And we didn't have a say in the matter. We had to stop going to this place and that place. And then all of it is coming out now that it was all a lie. I understand that people died. They did. They died, and I understand. But guess what? Job said in the Bible, what I have feared has come upon me. And they made C-19 so fearful that if you got it, and I got it. I got the C-19, and I heard Papa say, get up and go take the dogs for a walk. So I got up and took the dogs for a walk. I was sick as a dog, okay? And he was like, I'm going to wow you in the park. And he did just that. And he
I got it too, but it didn't even hardly faze me.
Yeah.
I lost my sense of taste for a long time, and that was very bizarre. And I was only a teeny bit under the weather for a few days. But I had started the diet that I'm on now, and I think my autoimmune system was like supercharged. So it just said, nah, no big deal.
Absolutely.
And who knows, too, the thing about viruses, and again, I'm not a doctor, so I'm not trying to say I know anything about this.
This is not medical advice. This is just our opinion.
Yeah, not at all. But what we kind of know is that particularly those type of viruses mutate. So, they tend to, from what I understand, I don't know this, they tend to mutate into lesser aggressive forms typically. Sometimes they don't, I think, but sometimes they do. And usually they do, I think. And so, by the second time I got it, I wasn't even sure I really had it. You know what I mean? So, all right. So, so did we really? No, you didn't really finish though. You've mentioned that they took your voices, but or our voices, so to speak. And you said by just
I think that
but I mean, what do you? I guess my next question would be is. Why do you think that is? I mean, was it?
To me, it's about control.
Really?
Yes, I do. I think it's about control. And if we keep being like sheep being led to a slaughter, that's what this looks like to me. We just say nothing and just applaud because she's a Black woman and a beautiful Black woman at that. However, I do not feel as though she is qualified to lead this country. Yes, she's been in position as vice president, but you've heard nothing about her. She's been the tiebreaker for a lot of things that in hindsight, as I listen to it, I wouldn't have been the tiebreaker for those things. I just think that if we do not act now, we're going to move into being a communist party.
Yeah, because I've seen some other YouTubers that bring up other things she's said in the past, and I mean, everyone can grow and change, and I've seen both Democrat and Republican presidents claim one thing and then, later realize that that's not going to work, you know what I mean, and promise to their base what it is they want to promise and stuff like that. So I want to give her room to do that. But I hate to say that I think she is pretty, and I think, I want to sound bad saying this, but I think you can be pretty. This is going to sound like a sexist thing to say. You can be pretty and smart. Well, you're pretty and smart. Okay.
Thank you.
I just get the sense that she's not is the smartest thing in the whole wide world. Now, she's been a prosecutor. So she's been in the legal business and stuff like that. I've heard that she didn't pass her bar at first, but I know a lot of lawyers that didn't pass their bar at first. So what does that mean? You know what I mean? Obviously she eventually did, because you never become a lawyer, so like that. But I mean, I think,
listen, this is how I feel. I think that she's beautiful. I don't care anything about what her culture is, right? I'm not voting for her just because she is Black.
Right.
I did that with Obama. I will never do it again. I am voting my heart, and I'm voting policy. Right? I am a beautiful Black, brown woman. Okay. Brilliant. However, I cannot go into an operating room and perform surgery.
Right.
Okay.
That's just not your thing, right?
Neither can I fill out CPA forms. I am not an accountant. If you put a mic in front of me, I can sing and speak. That's my speed.
Right.
I just do not think she's brilliant. She's all the things. But I don't think she's a commander in chief.
No, and well, for me, the thing I struggle with the most is, I have tried to imitate her word salad thing that she does, where she talks, she says all these words, but it's like the same 5 words reconstructed in, and it's hard to do. I mean, it's almost a skill to do her word salad, but the word salad thing to me does not bode well for a leader of the world.
No, it doesn't.
Whereas Obama, who I wasn't I was really glad America got its first Black president. I thought that was great. I also thought that he was an eloquent speaker, and but I didn't. Ultimately, I felt that for me personally, he felt more divisive than he was. That he started off saying he was going to bring them together and be about America. It didn't feel like that later on. At least the second term didn't feel like that at all for me. And I think he did what he thought he needed to do to be a politician, and he's a smart guy. I don't think Kamala comes even close. I mean, now Trump also picking on Trump. Trump is, not. He's no Vivek Ramaswamy, right?
No, he's not.
Right? And I'm a big Vivek. I wish that Trump could talk like Vivek, but
I wish Vivek could have been on the party ticket. But I love JD Vance.
Yes,
JD Vance is very educated.
Yeah,
and
I'm actually glad they didn't make Vivek vice president. I think it would have been a waste. I'm not saying that that position is a bad position. The vice president position is a bad one to have, but I don't think Vivek to me should be president or nothing. You know what I mean? I just don't think the vice president slot suits him.
I agree with that. I do agree with that.
Whereas JD Vance, he could function as president, I think, but he doesn't. But he does the. He does the vice president thing well. He fits that reasonably well. He's well spoken. He's written a book. You know what I mean? I've seen him in interviews. He can hold his own.
Yes, he can.
I've seen people really.
And really, it goes back to, I think. Okay, so now everyone is on this Project 2025 thing.
Right.
It's 900 and some odd pages, and I have not finished reading all of it.
How long is it?
925
Oh my
pages.
God, it's 900 pages long?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't have any idea it was that big.
Oh yeah, it's that big. But I did start diving into it, and honestly, people are talking about they want to dismantle the Board of Education. I'm for that. Let's redo it because our children are illiterate. They're not learning. I don't know what's happening. I don't know if the plan is to tear it all down or bring it back up. That's just what I heard. I haven't gotten to that part yet. But it's just so many things. And, my dad used to say this. He said, if you want to hide something from someone, put it in a book. Well, that's not what he said. Let me tell you what he really said. He said, Sugar Babe, if people hide things, if you want to hide something from a Black person, put it in a book.
Oh, snap.
Unfortunately, that is true for all people. And so my nosy ass self, I wanted to learn. I wanted to know what they keeping from me so I could be abreast of what's going on. Because of this Democratic Party and really the ignorance of people, I really did have to reskill myself in learning different things because we have all these immigrants coming into the country and they're like me, or they were like me, where we did this copy and paste in business. You just wanted to win the bid. You just wanted to work. And so we have a lot of worker bees, but we have no one educated in doing the books. So you copy what your competitor has done and then bringing a few pennies down. Well, those few pennies, when you compounding, is a lot of money.
Well, yeah, made even more complicated that copying and pasting doesn't mean that you have necessarily all the same initial constraining points. So you copy and paste the general concept, but the thing is that there are details in that job that's different than what you're copying and pasting from, and all of a sudden that, like you said, the margin for error is so small. Well, that small margin thing, that is the thing that scared me. I was not happy about Kamala personally.
Me either.
But I wasn't too worried until she finally stated some policy that she wanted to do, and it was price controls for groceries. I'm sorry, this shows that she doesn't have a clue.
I agree.
Because it's well known that there is no price gouging going on in grocery stores. Can you go to Whole Foods and pay more for something that doesn't necessarily get the value that you're paying for? Yes, you can do that. There's a market for that. But as a general rule, groceries are, you got a lot of competition, and they are, and my understanding, again, I'm not an expert, but my understanding is that the what's the word I'm looking for? The markup, the how much they make off of it is in the low 3%, low 2%. Yeah, it's like 2% markup. So there's no price gouging going on. And then when you so offering that means, one, you don't understand what's going on. You don't understand how that business is done. And you're telling people now you're busy buying votes, from my perspective. You've also backhandedly admitted that your policies, because you've been here for 3 years, and why do we need to lower the prices? I mean, you're still in office right now. If you're going to,
she could do it right now.
Hello.
She could do it right now.
Right. I mean,
we don't have to wait. The American people are already suffering.
Right. And I mean, and she could even do it through Biden. She could say, I'm vice president, but, because he stepped aside, hey, Biden, can you, executive order, this, whatever. But my thing is that the price control thing is a horrible idea.
So was 40% on capital gains.
The capital gains thing. Well, they're even talking about unrealized.
Mm-hmm.
That's insanity.
So some people say, well, it's only for people who make $100 million or less. Baby, let me just tell you this: what they say and what they put on paper is two different things. It starts with verbally saying, "Oh, it's just for people who make $100 million." Please. The economy is in shambles, and somebody gonna have to pay for it.
Yeah, no, I think it hits unrealized capital gains is going to hit the middle class,
and it's going to destroy
hard.
it.
You know how it's going to do it? Mostly through. I mean, how have most families made? I know my family was never. My mom and dad weren't super rich, but they did well because they bought a house, and over years it appreciated, and they sold the house, and they made quite a bit, and then they worked to get a little bit better house, and then more years went by, and so the property thing went up. Well, capital gains is going to hammer that,
absolutely,
and especially unrealized. I mean, imagine if they had taxed you before the housing market collapsed during the bubble. I mean, I borrowed against the value of this house during that time. Fortunately, I didn't borrow too crazy. And we built the studio we're in right now with that money, and then the market collapsed. Had they taxed me on what it was worth I mean, oh my God, it's just it's just it's
ridiculous.
Yeah, it's insane. So and then of course what I don't need to say, but I'm going to say anyways, is that price controlling is communist, for lack of a better way to put it.
I agree.
And it hasn't worked any place it's happened. And I like what somebody else I heard say: show me any society ever that was taxed into prosperity.
You can't.
No, it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. Yet America has been insanely prosperous at different moments of its time, and that was because the free market, and capitalism. And yeah, I think we have to watch that there aren't some people that end up with so much money that they become king. You know what I mean? And we have antitrust laws, and that's the legal system and stuff like that. But we can't be hating on the rich.
No, we can't.
We just got to make sure that those, the Rockefellers and the robber barons, I think what they called them. These were people that you end up owning your soul to the company store, and you could never get ahead. But that's been defeated for a long time. And I don't think the country is systemically racist, especially in that way. I think there's opportunity. I think that the country is stacked against you if you have no money. But I don't think it matters whether you're black, white, yellow.
Brent, how could you say that? How could you say that there is no systemic racism?
Yeah. Well,
because it's not.
Yeah, well, I'm not allowed to say that because I'm the white guy, the old white guy.
Let me say it for you. I do not believe in 2024 that there is systemic racism. I don't think so.
Yeah. I think America's had forms of it You know what I mean? And there's certainly individuals.
Individuals, I mean.
You know, that you know, yeah. I mean, I remember you told me a story about almost what was it? Basically, almost 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
You said you were telling me about a situation where you were bidding for something or whatever, and you thought you were dealing with a couple,
two racists.
Two racists,
but they weren't racist.
Oh, really?
So
tell the story.
So it's so funny because I had been saying that I was only dealt with racism twice, right? But I only dealt with racism once. The first one I recant, and I want to apologize to those two investigate or what were they project managers for Howard County in Maryland. I was part of the copy and paste companies, right? You want to start a company. I'm Black. I could participate in the DEI,
yeah, that's what's called.
Hires, you know, the Minority Business Program. We're not even going to go there. But the Minority Business Program, and I bid it. And when I bid it, I knew I was bidding low. I'm copy and pasting, and things change, things increase, right? But not really knowing economics. I just want to bid, right? And I just want to win. Well, I won this bid, right? It was no way that I could perform that job without having some type of backup or someone fronting me, except for...
What was it what was it that those guys did that made you feel like you were dealing with racism?
They asked me, they said, who are you fronting for? I was like, fronting for? I'm not fronting for anyone. You know, I had good credit at the time.
What does that mean?
Meaning so you have this going on in business. You have companies, small business, a minority company such as myself, right? I might not have the capital to do what I want to do. So then you might have a larger company who will utilize my minority status to get work, right? And so they asked me, who are you fronting for? Because I copied and pasted.
So that made you angry, though.
That made me angry. That was just the first thing I hurled at them. I was like, you racist. Right? They wanted to come to my house because that's where I had my office at, was in my house. And they wanted to come to my house. I was like, what kind of shit is this? Right? They wanted to come.
Was it an aggressive one to come to your house, or did they really want to talk to you? In retrospect, do you feel
it was a part of the whole thing? Like, they would have went to anyone's office, but because I never experienced that, it was racism for me.
Okay, so you got the gig.
Yeah, I got the gig,
but what happened?
And lost it as fast as I got it because I couldn't perform the work with the used equipment that I bought. It was a multi-year job, which I should have purchased brand new equipment for as many years as I had this contract. But I didn't have the capital. And God knows in heaven, with the number that I put this bid in for, I wouldn't have been able to sustain it. And they knew it. They were protecting the county. They weren't being racist. They were protecting the county. And sure enough, I lost the contract.
I've heard you say that, protecting the county. In what manner were there actions of protection of the county? Because
of the simple fact, it was a trash contract.
Okay.
Because I didn't perform, they had to pay somebody else at the last minute to come in, maybe at a higher rate, right, to perform what I couldn't because my equipment wasn't good.
Oh, wow.
And true to form, I bought that used equipment, and baby, it went down.
Wow. Okay.
And so they were really protecting. That's what I meant when I said they were protecting the county. And for real, if I wouldn't have had that perspective or the blinders of racism on, I really could have asked or engaged with questions. And I believe they probably, it's hindsight, so I really don't know, but maybe they would have told me it was too low. But guess what? They didn't need to tell me shit. I knew it was too low. But my partner said, we're going to do this. And there we go.
Okay. So you don't see Trump as racist. I mean, I hear the media saying, he's a racist. He's a racist.
No,
he's
I
racist.
don't see him as racist.
I don't either. But I
went back and I studied. I looked at some of the stuff that he did, and I looked at what they say about when him and his dad, during the 60s, about they didn't rent to black people. Well, shit. If I wouldn't rent to certain people nowadays either. If you don't qualify, you don't qualify. And people keep saying, well, everybody needs a chance. Well, if your credit score not that good, and if you're not paying certain stuff, I don't know it to be true. I wasn't there, right? But what I could say is that everybody, as long as they have breath in their body, is subject to change. And the things that I've seen him do for black people now, no, I don't consider him a racist. I do not.
I've seen some stories where he's taken care of people.
I have too. I heard the same thing. That's what I studied.
That have come out and said, hey, he's really did a lot for me, and and it's been ongoing for a long time, and he doesn't.
All nationalities. It wasn't just black people.
Yeah,
he's a helper. I really believe that he has a heart for people. And he's that direct person, in my opinion. He's just direct, and he might not know how to eloquently say things, but it's okay. It's okay. There's grace for all of that. Some people have a problem with, saying the pussy word, grab a woman in the pussy, right? And I understand that this is live YouTube, but guess what? Have you heard the rap music? I mean, oh my God, if you're mad at Trump for that, you should never listen to rap music. There's so much misogyny, and there's so much grabbing of pussies and women talking about it themselves.
Yeah, well, I don't think the black community is the one that's the most upset about that particular thing. I think that's more of the green-haired, or blue-haired.
I disagree.
Women thing, they get really uptight about what JD Vance. JD Vance calls, single cat women. You know what I mean?
I didn't hear that, but let me just say this too. I am so sick that every freaking 4 years we go through this racism thing. Every year it's always got to be something about racism. I don't feel marginalized. I don't feel what they say, marginalized. All these lies and isms, I don't feel any of that. I feel like I am a prosperous, brown-skinned woman able to do exactly what I put my mind to, because when I read in the scriptures that Jesus said that I'll have what I say, I'm speaking life. Yeah. That's what I'm doing. I'm speaking life for myself. And it is a line that many people, many nationalities have given me a hand up. Yeah. Many.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I think also too is the media is really cherry picking. There have been historically, all the way back to the early days, I think even prior to the revolution of the country itself, there were very successful black men.
Absolutely.
And black women, actually. Now, admittedly, it was relatively rare, but I don't think there was the mindset or the concern or the worry about it. They had bigger fish to fry. I literally think that this whole racism thing and the way we look at it now is something that's kind of conjured up.
I'm so sick of it.
Yeah, well, but I mean, my thing is I've heard people called race hustlers. It's like these people. Some of these people they are nobody if they don't have that cause, and so therefore they make it a big deal.
Really, it's all about economics, right? Because you can start a program for this and get money for the federal government because you marginalize and criminalize and you black and you this ism and that ism. Listen. You have the same 24 hours in a day that I do.
Yeah.
If you're able to reskill yourself, you can reskill yourself. You can do something different, right? I'm for real, as a little girl, I thought stock trading was for old white men. Well, wouldn't you know?
You do that.
Yes.
Oh, good for you.
I am now learning Because
I need you to teach me some stuff because I haven't got a clue. I'd love to get into that game if at all possible. I also just barely dabbled in crypto a little bit.
I love crypto. I'm all things crypto.
Well, yeah, you told me that crypto actually it was your move into crypto that basically opened your eyes to the whole conspiracy thing.
Yes,
which is interesting. I mean, what was it about the crypto thing that uncovered? I mean, why was it? Why crypto? What did that and what did it do to open your eyes? Is really
that's a whole nother episode, Brad. We're gonna have to do that on another episode.
Give me like a short kind of like just if you can.
Criminalization of crypto.
The fact that they are trying to defeat it
when they actually created it,
they're fearful of it.
Yeah, they created the problem with the dollar. Now, then they take it and have a solution for it, right? But then they criminalize the thing that they created to offset people.
Yeah, Well, I don't know that they created it. They want
solution.
No, I think the real issue,
problem reaction solution.
The problem is it's the centralization or the lack thereof that is the real problem with the
maybe
crypto
the
thing.
NSA.
Oh, NSA. Well,
Bitcoin.
Well,
do your homework.
They say there's some Oriental cat they claim that created it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. But they're not even sure about that. But the thing is that they created something that they can't. The genie came out of the bottle,
and they can't put it back in.
And they can't really put the genie back in the bottle. Is what it boils down to. And so they not against crypto, but they want to centralize it.
Yes, they want to centralize it, and they want to tax you into oblivion.
Which is yes, exactly, because it's all again about control, money and control, right?
Yeah. Economics for sure. And so this being my first YouTube podcast, I am excited. I wanted to come out and I wanted to talk and tell everyone that I'm not with her. Though she is beautiful and she is brilliant in her own right, I just don't feel as though for me, I'm not ready for her to be my commander in chief. And so,
well, let me ask something of you. So I feel you are correct about these things, and that you are doing the world a favor by taking. It's a risk. Let's face it. I mean, even your own family is giving you a hard time about this.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you, besides just coming out as we're calling this, what do you think you and more of us need to do in order to come to the same understanding to keep us from going over the edge if we haven't already?
That is such a great question. Have you ever been deep sea diving?
Well, yeah, the deepest I've ever been is 125 feet, I think.
That's about what I had to do for myself, is to dive deep and not look at what the media was telling me.
And your family.
And my family, because it wasn't working for me. As an entrepreneur, I really looked at my bank account. And when I went to the grocery store, I was trying to figure out, why do I have 6 things costing $120? I just couldn't understand it.
Yeah. And it wasn't like that when Trump was in. I'm sorry.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah.
It really wasn't. I think that everyone knew that their pockets and the market was booming when Trump was in.
Your business was doing quite well.
And guess what? I didn't vote for Trump the first time, right? And all the things that they said that he was going to do, he didn't. He wasn't racist. At least that's not what I saw. People say about the insurrection. I think that you all need to do your homework. I'm not even going to go into it. I don't even believe that. I believe that it was people going to march because they believed there was something wrong. And in hindsight, I believe it was something wrong. But what I'm telling you is, don't believe just what you hear on the media. I was listening to Congress and they were interviewing Janet Yellen. And she was so passionate. I believe President Biden. He said this, that, and the other. And the man asked her to repeat, what did he say? And she repeated, and she was like, that may be what he said. But what he wrote in policy or what's being voted on is something totally different. So it's not about what they say, it's about what they write. And it is time for you all, right? Like me, I had to do my own research. I had to get up off my ass, right? And really do so. As I reskilled myself in something different, I realized I'm being lied to. When you took my voice away during COVID, I thought it was for the good of the people. It was for you to line your pockets and really do population control, my opinion, okay? But then you gave us Kamala, and you faked like you asked for, the Democratic Party asked for an early debate. You knew exactly what you were doing. So I heard someone say Kamala only had a few days to decide. She didn't have a primary. Baby, let me tell you something. You're not dealing with ignorant people. You're not. They're very intelligent. I believe that they knew before they had this coup with President Biden that they were going to put her there, right? Yeah. And so she had enough time to study and really figure it out. And what we see of her, for me, is not commander-in-chief. She's just not. Like I said before, I'm a singer-songwriter, author. I am not a physician, nor am I a surgeon. And you wouldn't want me in that position, even though I'm good at what I do.
Yeah. Well, I think it's one step worse than that.
I agree. I was trying to be nice.
Not only is she not commander-in-chief material, but she's dangerous to the idea of America. And she is the Democratic Party. Gone is the original Democratic Party. It's kind of what Trump redefined the Republican Party to be, which is, a lot more inclusive, I think. That's another whole argument. But the point is that
like her welcoming the immigrants. I don't have a problem with immigrants coming into this country as long as the immigrants come legally. You have too many illegal immigrants here in this country. It's something like 11 million. And they're getting funding in California. If it's true what I heard, it's $150,000 for a down payment for a house. Ain't nobody give me that.
Yeah.
Am I jealous? Hell yes. Well,
it's worse than that. Again, the whole idea, it's just like what happened to tuition. You promise them $25,000 for their first house, and the price of every house goes up by $25,000. So, it's insanity.
And insanity is doing the same thing, expecting a different result.
Yeah.
So guess what? If you all want to live these next 4 years insanely, just keep doing the same thing.
Yeah. Well, that was my point. My thing is that I think it's worse than just not ready for the job. I think she's dangerous because the American way is what we want to preserve. And, even if you're having a problem with Trump, you don't like his mean tweets or you don't like his narcissism or it's like that,
I don't like everything you do, but I love the hell out of you.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Right.
He yells at me during the studio session.
I don't.
So, but, to bring out the best, you know what I mean? I'm teasing. I'm not teasing. He really does yell at me, but it's to bring out the best. However, we don't agree with everyone. You know what I mean? My family doesn't agree with me. I don't know if they're going to put me out, stop talking to me or not. I sure got cussed out, but it's okay. I still love my family because we are of a different opinion. And, tribalism is a real thing, okay? And when you're trying to explore your life and do something different and you see different things because you've been exposed to different things and you have a different mentality or you're listening to something different because faith comes by hearing and hearing the word of God, right? So if faith comes by hearing, if you cut that scripture off right there, right, what are you hearing? And if you're hearing that the media is saying that Trump is not good for this country, well, how did the country, if you just look at the 4 years that he was in, what did he do so wrong?
Yeah.
I'm just asking. Maybe it's something I overlooked.
No,
Maybe
right.
I'm not seeing anything. But economically, the country was booming. I traveled.
Right.
I did different things.
Right.
Sure, he may have said some dumb shit, but who doesn't?
Right. Right. Yeah. Right. Agreed. That's really true. Yeah. Again, I mean, charge it to to his his head, not his heart.
Absolutely.
I mean, yeah, definitely.
Even with the LGBT community, I'm just going to be real honest. I was really upset with Michelle Obama when I heard her say, our children love who they love. You know what? That is absolutely true. They love who they love. However, I don't want anyone to take my daughter's parental rights away from my grandson.
Right.
I don't like that. Thank you. I don't like that at all. And I believe that children, anything under high school, are too young for those particular, let's just
Subjects.
be subjects, like sex changes. They're too young.
Yeah.
You mean to tell me at 18, you can't even get a tattoo until you're over 18, but you're going to allow them to have a sex change?
Right.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I don't. When my daughter was reading,
age of consent is age of consent.
I agree. My daughter was reading some ratchet book in high school, and when she was reading, she was a senior, and I was like, "Wait a minute." I had to go to the
ratchet?
school.
What's a ratchet?
It was all kinds of dicks and
snap.
Yeah, and I went to the school and talked to her teacher, and her teacher said, "You're the only parent complaining." I was like, "Listen, I give 0 Fs about what anybody else is doing about their kids, but as far as me, give her another book to read."
Yeah,
she already has peer pressure and everything else. She don't need to read this in this book.
Yeah,
not at this time.
Yeah.
Maybe let her do it in college, not under my watch. As a woman that was molested. I was about to say it. As a woman who was molested in my childhood years, I was very, very protective of my child because I did not want her to experience the pain, the mental anguish, the insecurities, the hurt, the trauma. I didn't want my child to go through that. So I covered her. And I will ask her questions. Anybody touch you? Seriously, mommy is delusional. I promise you, nothing is going to hurt you. If they said, don't tell nobody, you better tell me.
Right.
Because I got your back.
Right.
And so I don't believe none of these discussions need to be held in any school. I think it should be left up to the parents. And with that said, parents, you need to be better parents to your children. You need to show up. You need to read. You need to take time with them.
Yeah.
And I understand. Listen,
It's hard.
if you want to, I know it's hard, but guess what? If you want to continue to work 2-3 jobs under this administration, you go right ahead, but you're going to lose and fail somewhere. It might be your children, especially if they're not strong. But start looking at the children's grades.
Or the community gets a hold of them and convinces them that now the far left wants to make it so that you lose control of your own children.
I don't think that a 2-year-old need to be looking at Nickelodeon to be homosexual. And here's what I want to say about that. You don't have to teach a child to lie. You don't. If a child is inquisitive enough to want to go experience that, that's fine, right? However, so you all already know, I told you, I'm a Bible girl. I'm a Jesus girl. The Bible says, be fruitful and multiply. 2 women cannot multiply. 2 men cannot multiply. Right. So again, I'm going to go back to my analogy. You don't have to teach a child to lie. They innately know how to do it. If that's something that they want to explore, let them explore that on their own. But as far as that's concerned, I don't want my tax dollars going to that. Neither do I want a book for a kindergartner to read about sodomy. I don't want that. They already have enough pressure, especially suppose this child got to deal with, they don't have any food at home, right? Mom's working 2-3 jobs.
Right.
And then you're going to have someone speak into their life about homosexuality. I have family. I have friends. I have people in my life who align themselves with that. I love them as they are. I love them. I'm not here to change anybody. The command for me is to love your neighbor as yourself. And I am learning to love me more and more. And the more I love me, the more I love everyone else. And with that said, I don't want anyone teaching any of my grandkids anything about homosexuality. I don't think that it has its place in the public schools.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think it falls squarely in the area of where, parents should be given the option to teach what they want to teach, how they want to teach. This is one of those things. And I understand the postmodern, super progressive people feel that, there are a lot of redneck idiots out there who shouldn't have the right to teach their children because they feel that those people are stupid and ignorant, believe in God and guns. And I get that, but the point is
baby, I believe in God and guns.
Well, but I'm just saying, but the progressives their argument is no, we need to be able to take your children away from because you're too stupid to have children. Mm-hmm. That's what they think.
But they're okay. It's so funny. They're okay with all this children being sold and child trafficking. You're okay with that. But I'm a mother, a struggling mother, trying to raise her kid the best way I can. But you okay? Something's not right with this.
Right, yeah.
You okay with child trafficking, right? But you're not okay with a woman or a family struggling to feed their kids. But you're able to bring illegal immigrants over, give them $8,000 to $15,000 a month. Something's not right.
Right.
You asked me the question, what do I think that you need to do? I think people need to take inventory, do your own research. Listen, take the filter off, right? Don't read from your belief system, right? Read from an open mindset and let the Holy Spirit minister to you. And I don't mean, oh, Father God. None of that spooky shit. God talks to us in our own voice.
Yeah, I agree.
Right?
I agree with that
and
too.
So I'm just saying.
There's a lot of people that don't understand about hearing. I mean, I even in my family, there is much discussion about what it means to hear from God. That's a difficult subject. I don't think I agree with you. I don't think it's difficult at all. But for many people, it is. It's like my brother says. I mean, I've never had a burning bush talking to me.
I've never had a burning bush.
Me neither. But I also know that God's talked to me before. You know what I mean?
So let me make other people mad. God loved Hitler as much as he loves me.
Right.
Right?
True that.
God loves the Republican and the Democrat and the Independent.
Yep.
He loves us all. We have a choice to make, right? I wrestle a little bit with that scripture where it says all authority has been placed in heaven for God and by God and for his glory. And if that is true, I rest. However, I am going to vote, and I'm voting for Donald J. Trump. I am also praying for him. I'm praying that for his protection. No one is talking about him trying to be assassinated. No one's talking about that. And to me, that is a disgrace to America.
Yeah.
Even if you thought that he did it, you should have been proving him guilty. But you're not even doing that. We need to pray for this man. We need to cover him because he's a man. He's got family that love him. He's got friends that love him. Yeah. He has people that are depending on him.
Yeah.
I don't care who you were. Pray. The Bible says, pray that you may live peaceably in the earth. I'm praying. I'm covering that man in prayer. I'm covering Biden in prayer. I'm covering Kamala in prayer because I cannot imagine the stress that she's going through. Whether she asks for it or not, they need prayer. And what I'm asking you all to do is dig deep. Don't just listen to the media. They're selling you a narrative, right? Do your own research, study. Know that God loves you more than you love yourself. He will never leave you, neither will he forsake you, right? So I'm asking everyone, stop with the mean talk, calling people names. It's no space for it. We don't need it. Let's just have a great election that's fair, right?
Yeah. Well, I think the tribalism has gotten out of hand, and I think, but I think the problem stems from the idea of what is true. The truth. It seems to be very difficult, and the thing is an example. Let's say you're a Democrat and I'm a Republican. Okay, and we see our friend over there and he's beating his wife, and we both know he's beating his wife. So as a Democrat, how do you feel about him beating his wife?
You say it's wrong. It's wrong, and I'm cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. I'm gonna go try to do something about it.
Okay, so I'm a Republican, and I see that he's being, and I'm going to talk to them too, or at least him. I'm going to say, hey, yo, bro, you can't be doing that. That's not going to work. It's like that. So my point is, on that truth, that what that person was doing was wrong.
Absolutely.
Even though you're a Democrat and I'm a Republican, we both can agree on that. And what I'm saying is that I think that we need to step back a little bit with the love of God in our understanding and go, we agree if what Trump did was bad, if it's true, then I agree with you, even though I like Trump, right? And vice versa. So then the question is this: so what is the truth? And like you said, you just told everybody, hey, look, get out there, dig deep, find the truth, look further than your nose. Don't necessarily take anything for just any answer. Put it together, use some common sense, and figure it out. And I think I know a lot of
and I'm asking also, people, please don't vote gender and color.
Yeah,
please.
Yeah.
It doesn't serve humanity.
Yeah, well, I'm saying that because the point is that's not the real issues. There's more at stake at this point. We've gone over that. We can't. Does America need to be improved? Hell yeah, it needs to be improved. There's no question about that. Do we need to burn it to the ground to start over? Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
It's one of the best places in the world. For all of its faults, it's still really, really great.
It's still really, really great because so many people still want to come here. So It's still great.
Exactly. So with that said, I think we'll wrap this up. Maybe we have some stuff we can hit on. Maybe we can talk about the crypto, because I could sure stand learning some stuff about crypto. And
gotcha.
Yeah, because I wouldn't hurt my feelings any, and maybe even the day trading thing. I got a couple other friends that do some of that too, and also too, maybe we can talk about what it means to run a business. I'm not much of a businessman. I got this studio, and the business has changed out from underneath me, I thank God that I've adapted, and like the video part was, but that wasn't my original training or like that.
You have to reskill. You have to be innovative and go with what's for you. If it's not serving you, let's leave it alone. So
we can talk about that. Also too, it'd be fun to talk about hopes and dreams, maybe.
Yes.
Because I'm wanting to be a pilot, and I'm getting up in age, and so theoretically it doesn't make sense, but
it's still your hope and your dream.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And I could even be talked out of it if God gave me a better idea, but it's the idea I got. So we're going to wrap up, everybody. This is Carmen Calhoun here at Studio 51, and we love you, and we hope that we made any sense. We don't want to offend anybody, but we're not afraid to offend you if you really if that's where you're at, because
Actually, just choose not to be offended.
there you go. That's even better.
It's a choice.
Yeah.
And you don't have to be offended. If you're offended,
Right.
you choose to be, but I'm asking you, don't.
Yeah, don't be. Okay. Cool.
I love you, Brad Badwall.
We out.